Coffee is one of the most beloved drinks in the world. It energizes our mornings, fuels our workdays, and brings us comfort during long afternoons. But what many coffee drinkers don't realize is that not all coffee is created equal. Some brands are packed with hidden mold toxins, chemical residues, burnt beans, artificial flavors, and cheap fillers that can wreck your energy, irritate your stomach, and leave you crashing by midday. In today's video, we're diving into the coffee brands you should avoid. The ones that consistently fail purity tests, rely on the cheapest beans available, and put profits ahead of your health. By the end of this list, you'll have a much clearer idea of which coffees to stay away from and the clean, high-quality alternatives you can trust. Let's begin with the brands you need to skip, the worst offenders. 1. Folgers. When you think of affordable coffee, Folgers probably comes to mind. It's been around for years and is a staple in many households. However, while it may be familiar and cheap, it's not doing your body any favors. Folgers primarily uses Robusta beans, which are harsher and far less flavorful than the higher quality Arabica beans. These beans are more likely to contain defects, mold, and unpleasant off flavors because they are grown under less stringent conditions and often stored for long periods before roasting. Independent lab tests have consistently raised concerns about the presence of mold toxins and stale compounds in Folgers. These contaminants can contribute to headaches, digestive issues, and brain fog, problems many coffee drinkers mistakenly attribute to the caffeine itself. Add to that Folgers' over-roasting process, which destroys antioxidants and creates acrylamide, a chemical compound linked to potential health risks, and it's clear why this brand should stay out of your kitchen. 2. Maxwell House. Another iconic brand that's hard to miss on supermarket shelves is Maxwell House. However, just like Folgers, this brand's coffee is mass-produced with an emphasis on low cost rather than quality. Maxwell House uses mostly Robusta beans, notorious for being bitter, highly acidic, and more prone to defects like mold and pests. The beans often come from large industrial farms where chemical fertilizers and pesticides are the norm. These beans are then stored in bulk, sometimes for months, before they even make it to your coffee cup. Additionally, Maxwell House has been flagged for mycotoxins, toxic compounds that can cause headaches, fatigue, and digestive issues. The over-roasting process used by Maxwell House further diminishes the coffee's quality by producing a burnt, bitter taste that's often harsh on the stomach. What's more, the brand doesn't offer transparency on where its beans come from or the roasting practices used, leaving consumers in the dark about what they're really drinking. 3. Yubin. Once marketed as a premium, ethically sourced coffee brand, Yubin has drastically declined in quality over the years. The company moved away from using high-quality Arabica beans and now relies heavily on Robusta beans, which are cheap and often contaminated with mold and defects. Even worse, Yubin is mass-produced in huge batches, meaning freshness is often compromised. Many customers report that the coffee tastes stale as soon as it's opened, a telltale sign of old, low-grade beans. There's also a lack of transparency with Yubin. The brand provides no information about where its beans are sourced from, how they're processed, or whether they undergo any quality testing. Yubin used to promote Rainforest Alliance certification, but this commitment seems to have faded, signaling a shift toward cost-cutting and reduced ingredient oversight. 4. Café Bustelo. Known for its strong espresso-style coffee, Café Bustelo has earned a loyal following, particularly in Latin communities. However, this coffee comes with some serious drawbacks. First, Café Bustelo uses Robusta beans, which contribute to a bitter, harsh flavor that is more acidic and often difficult to drink without added cream or sugar. These beans are also more susceptible to mold contamination and pesticide residues, raising concerns about the quality and safety of what you're drinking. The brand also roasts its beans to an ultra-dark level, creating a smoky, burnt flavor that masks the defects of low-quality beans. Over-roasting destroys antioxidants and increases acrylamide levels, which has raised health concerns. Unfortunately, Cafe Bustelo doesn't perform or disclose any mold toxin or pesticide testing, leaving customers at risk of ingesting harmful chemicals. 5. Kirkland Signature Medium Roast, Costco. Costco's private label. Coffee Kirkland Signature Medium Roast is often praised for its budget-friendly price. But when it comes to quality, Kirkland's coffee leaves much to be desired. The biggest problem with Kirkland's coffee is that it relies on mass-produced beans from multiple countries, which results in inconsistent flavor, poor freshness, and higher chances of mold contamination. Most of these beans are a blend of Arabica and Robusta, but even the Arabica beans are often lower grade. To make matters worse, the coffee is roasted in bulk and vacuum-packed, which means it sits in warehouses for months before it reaches the shelves. By the time you brew your cup, the beans are often stale, resulting in sour, flat, and harsh flavors. Without third-party testing or transparency about its sourcing and quality control, Kirkland Signature Coffee is a gamble for anyone concerned about mycotoxins or freshness. 6. Chock full of nuts. Though Chock full of nuts has a nostalgic charm, its coffee is far from top tier. The brand uses a blend of Robusta and low-grade Arabica beans, which results in a bitter and burnt flavor profile. Robusta beans are particularly prone to mold, pest defects, and poor storage, which compromises the overall quality of the coffee. The brand's roasting method is also problematic. Chock full of nuts tends to over-roast its beans, which burns off natural oils and reduces the coffee's antioxidant content. The result is a harsh, burnt flavor that lacks the smoothness and complexity found in better coffee brands. 7. Death Wish Coffee. Marketed as the world's strongest coffee, Death Wish coffee is not for the faint of heart. While the extreme caffeine content, over 700 milligrams per cup, might appeal to some, it comes with serious risks. For many people, this high level of caffeine can trigger anxiety, heart palpitations, sleep disturbances, and digestive issues. Even healthy adults can suffer from crashes or energy slumps after drinking Death Wish. Beyond the caffeine, the brand uses Robusta beans, which are bitter and less flavorful than Arabica beans. Death Wish also roasts its beans to an ultra-dark level, destroying antioxidants and increasing the formation of acrylamide. There's also a lack of transparency about where their beans come from, and they don't publish any mold toxin or pesticide test results. If you want a strong kick without the risks, there are much better alternatives out there. 8. McCafe Ground Coffee, McDonald's. McCafe coffee served in restaurants may be passable, but the store-bought version is a different story. McCafe coffee is produced by mass-market suppliers who prioritize shelf life over freshness. The beans are roasted in bulk and shipped through long supply chains, often sitting for months before reaching consumers. By the time you brew a cup, the beans are stale and lack flavor. Additionally, McCafe uses low-grade Arabica beans that can be riddled with defects and mold. The coffee's roasting process is another problem. It's roasted to a medium-dark level, which often results in a burnt, over-processed taste. McCafe's packaging is also subpar, and the beans degrade quickly after opening, which leads to a stale taste. Without any transparency about sourcing or testing, McCafe is a coffee you're better off skipping. 9. Coffee 8 o'clock. Coffee may be a recognizable name, but it's a far cry from high-quality, fresh coffee. The brand uses mass-produced beans and is heavily reliant on Robusta, which is lower in flavor and prone to defects. These beans are then roasted in bulk, leading to a lack of consistency in flavor and freshness. Many customers report that 8 o'clock coffee tastes flat and stale right after opening the bag, which is a clear sign of low-quality beans. There's also little transparency about sourcing or quality testing. While 8 o'clock offers various blends, it doesn't disclose where the beans come from or what practices are in place to ensure they're mold-free or pesticide-free. The coffee's consistency and flavor can be unpredictable, making it a risky choice for regular coffee drinkers. 10. Lavazza Lavazza is another popular coffee brand that might seem like a great choice at first glance, but its reputation doesn't quite match the quality. Lavazza uses a blend of Arabica and Robusta beans, but much of their coffee is mass-produced in large batches. The beans are often over-roasted, which destroys their natural oils and antioxidants, resulting in a flat, dull flavor. Additionally, Lavazza is notorious for not being transparent about the origin of its beans, leaving consumers unsure about the growing practices, chemical usage, and overall quality of the coffee they're buying. 11. Nescafé, instant coffee. While Nescafé offers convenience with its instant coffee, it comes with several downsides. Instant coffee is often made from lower quality beans that are heavily processed to create a quick, drinkable version of coffee. These beans are typically Robusta and prone to defects, mold contamination, and poor storage conditions. Instant coffee also lacks the flavor complexity and richness of freshly brewed coffee. What's worse is that Nescafé does not disclose where their beans are sourced from, nor do they perform or publish mold toxin or pesticide testing. This lack of transparency leaves consumers exposed to the risk of consuming low-quality, potentially contaminated coffee. 12. Starbucks. Though Starbucks is known for its massive popularity and wide variety of drinks, its coffee beans are often mass-produced and over-roasted, leading to a burnt flavor profile. Starbucks primarily uses Robusta beans in their lower-tier blends, which are bitter and lack the complexity of better-quality Arabica beans. While Starbucks offers some higher-end, single-origin options, their standard coffee lacks the freshness and purity that many coffee lovers seek. Their roasting process is also problematic, as it tends to over-roast the beans to the point of bitterness, masking any natural flavors and antioxidants. The better alternatives. If you're tired of dealing with burnt, stale, or moldy coffee, there are better alternatives. Here are two brands that actually care about the quality of their beans and the purity of their products. 1. Bulletproof Coffee. Bulletproof Coffee is a clean, toxin-free brand that puts quality and health first. Unlike many mass-produced coffees, Bulletproof publishes third-party testing results to ensure that their beans are free from mold, pesticides, and other harmful chemicals. They use a chemical-free washing method and source their beans from high-altitude farms, which reduces the chances of fungus and toxins growing on the beans. Bulletproof's coffee is smooth, rich, and well-balanced, providing a clean energy boost without the crash. 2. Stumptown Coffee Roasters. Stumptown Coffee Roasters is one of the gold standards in specialty coffee. They are committed to ethical sourcing, ensuring that their beans are grown in small, high-quality farms with strict environmental and labor standards. Stumptown's beans are roasted to preserve their natural flavors and antioxidants, offering a clean, smooth cup of coffee with no bitterness. The brand also provides transparency by listing the origin of every bean and the harvesting methods used, making it easy for consumers to know exactly what they're drinking. With so many coffee brands out there, it's essential to know which ones are worth your time and which ones are best left on the shelf. By avoiding low-quality, mass-produced brands and opting for those that prioritize transparency, freshness, and ethical sourcing, you can enjoy a much cleaner, healthier coffee experience. Stay away from these 12 brands and choose the alternatives that truly value your health and taste buds.